Right? Actually, hold on a second. I need to change my volume real quick.
Alright.
Alright, testing, testing.
Alright, sounds about the same, so we should be good. Alright. Ready when you are.
I'm always ready.
Alright, then let's begin.
This is the story of a man named...
We already know this story.
This is the story of a man named Stanley!
Who was living with 3 Stanleys of his own.
Oh god.
All of his co-workers were gone.
He was not very creative,
Stanley decided to go to the meeting.
so he named all his sons after himself.
We were a poor family, could only afford one name.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Boy, that rain sound doesn't sound too bad.
Figure Finders Committee. Oh, wait, Figure Finders Committee meeting today. Oh, in the meeting room. I bet you there's a Stanley figurine in there.
Probably. Let's go find out.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
We can't forget the bucket.
Can never forget the bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
How to find them.
Ooh. There will be a reward for finding them all.
No, there won't.
Something to do with the stairs. A large room, lots of boxes. I'd be willing to bet that that's the storage room.
Probably if you brought being sent over.
And I'm also gonna guess the red and blue door.
Probably.
Nearby a fireplace. Not sure where that one is. Private
Boss's office?
assembly place. Oh yeah, probably. What did that say?
Bottom text. How we can find them.
No, before that.
What we know, small floating objects have appeared across the office. We have synergized our resources to ensure their retrieval. There are many questions. There was no memo from management. How can you tell you spotted one? What makes them float in the air? Who took these pictures of them?
Yeah, right. Why didn't they just collect them?
Follow clues provided by employee 416. We can do it. Red room?
Ooh,
They
416.
call him Figley. Thank you. Good luck. Oh god. The narrator's gonna have another seizure.
We are in the closet.
The narrator would have another seizure.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Another miniature Stanley figurine.
I knew it.
This, you know, there really
It was the
must be
bathroom
a
in the boss's
specific name
office.
for these things. What about mini stands? Stanley figs.
Mini
Or
stamps.
What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Just read that as under your
Stanley.
butt.
No, please don't.
Too late.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
He didn't
Crushed
remember
by
it
the
was the
weight of
manager's
this
office,
revelation,
and that was
Stanley
the
may have
default.
broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's walk? But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along?
The
Was the
bucket.
bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Not that I'm going crazy.
The bucket knows everything.
The bucket knows too much.
Ooh, another one.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlets. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come
I
to
like
me.
Figgly better.
This is shorter than Stanlerine.
It's like a Dragon Ball fusion name, you know? What
Right.
works better, Truntan or Go Tanks?
Trunkton, wait!
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
We need help.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Yeah.
What are we thinking?
Nothing of it. Have we already been to both?
We actually haven't done escape yet, but I know that these all change with you if you have the bucket, so...
Then let's do the mind control facility. Why not?
No, I said we haven't done escape yet.
Oh, but then we'll do escape, I guess, then.
And technically we did do the mind control ending, but we just did the good ending, not the bad one.
At the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death. The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
We are, and proudly so. The bucket will just pull a toaster from the brave little toaster.
Yep, and Geronimo!
I can't believe my last words are snot rocket! And thus we hit the bottom of the infinite hole. Again. Whoa.
I don't think that's a hole.
As
Nope,
the
doesn't
machine
look it.
whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise,
Why is this
Stanley
here?
reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be.
I have no idea.
It puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
The bucket hardly knew ye.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator,
What?
as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single
It's
visible
narrator
instant,
inception.
Oh
The
god.
bucket's life came
Yeah,
to an end.
the male
as it was
narrator. Hey,
crushed
don't cut me off like
violently
that.
to death.
What if we did like we just like farewell Stanley called the narrator to the narrator.
The narrator said Stanley went one way, and then another narrator
It
stepped
was a
in to
shame,
clarify on
the
that
death of such a
previous narrator's
magnificent
point.
bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest.
It's a
What?
It was
bucket!
a glorious bucket to behold.
What is it with everyone's obsession with this buckets?
Was it a divine bucket or something? The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You are standing on the precipice of knowledge, much like a bucket itself. The human mind is frequently empty within a cavernous void. Rude. But through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full, enriched, and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history are the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn here out with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind what we may be challenging with the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue your life as you were, in ignorance and darkness?
Well, screw you too.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like
Buckets.
this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the
Imagine how
hubris
much that-
blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short
That's a
life?
lot more than 25 buckets.
Yeah, right?
A photograph of 25 buckets, the greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. The photographer experienced catatonic state shock for several weeks after taking the picture, I assume. As a result of sheer euphoria of exposure to every bucket on the place. Okay?
Oh my gosh, this is so stupid and I love it.
The writer was-
Imagine how much rendering power. Actually, you know what this makes me think of? I bet they're just trying to see how many buckets they could get on before crashing their computer.
Right? You know what the sad thing is? This is probably still fewer gigs than FNAF Security Breach and has far more content in it.
Wah, wah.
A bucket with 2 handles. This bucket is depicted...
This bucket is depicted.
Go on.
Sorry, you
No,
want to
no,
read that?
no,
one?
you go ahead. You go ahead.
This bucket is depicted as having 2 handles. Such a design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it.
What? No, we don't use 2 handles because that doesn't make any sense when you could just use 1.
Some people just need that higher dose of euphoria.
What if that's the reason that half the things are the way they are? Just like, well, we tried it, but we didn't want to die. The Inferno buckets. A replica of the Inferno bucket, in which, in the medieval era, was so powerfully alluring, it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet, out of spite of it all, the simple fact remained: no one could control a bucket.
The bucket controls you.
There is something funny to that line. No, despite all the billions of deaths, nothing changed the fact that you cannot control a bucket. I'm not reading that.
While we know that buckets predate the existence of mankind, we do not know by how long.
How?
These cave drawings depict early man's discovery of the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the bucket has already likely been around for several millennia. Notice in the drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasures.
Were they always metal too before metal was invented? Who invented them? The Tyrannosaurus Rex just walked around with a bucket in hand?
Don't question the whims of a T-Rex.
Oh, I thought you were going to say don't question the whims of a bucket.
Do not question the bucket. You do not question it. Ah.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly
Bullshit!
not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
Bucket.
The hanging bucket. This place symbolizes...
This piece symbol.
Go on.
Go ahead. I got the last one. You got this one.
Alright. This place symbolizes the necessary relationship between buckets and humanity. However, clear out of grasp of the bucket may be, yet there is yet more to this that always is out of reach. This distance inevitably is for our own good. It's a bucket, it's not a god!
yet you must worship both.
God, when we die and we find out that like God and Jesus were just buckets, I am gonna be so pissed.
I am walking on air.
Oh, so that's where the infinite hole went. Yeah, because it's always out of reach. Because we're gonna get. Oh,
My bucket.
the game crashed.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together.
But the bucket's gonna be crushed with us.
As leader, as commander of
What do we do? Throw the bucket away?
Well, shoot.
Damn it! Should have frozen
Stanley died.
time again. Yes, my life kicks ass. And she did backflips all the way home. Okay then.
Off to another adventure.
All of his
In
co-workers were gone.
space!
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
I don't think we did this one before. I'm gonna give it a try again.
Stanley clung the bucket to his cheek. Could his co-workers really all be gone? Yes, whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear.
We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self.
True self.
The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger, of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself. Perhaps, if it had seen its
This
own
is so
darkness
stupid and I
with a
love it.
clearer perception.
This
was
is
way
taking
too
the
much
joke
for
from keeping
Stanley.
up with appearances to the extreme.
He screamed.
You're a bucket.
Except you are a bucket.
No,
Said the bucket.
not since the evil wizard Gambhorata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the sacred amulet I stole from his treasured vaults. I was young back then and could not conceive the ramifications of. No!
Stanley screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid! Buckets! This is so stupid! Why are we even doing this?
The narrator being me at this
Stanley
point.
screamed and screamed. The bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold
What?
power. Its fangs glistening like
Oh wait,
What?
the narrator realized. Oh wait, I can't animate that. And then it was cut.
My God, Stanley, you did it. You saved us from the bucket.
Why
Thank
is it
God
bleeding?
You already had all 12 emblems of sages. And
No,
you had
what?
incantations to summon their true power. Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless. You've demonstrated such bravery here today. Come, let's restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor the dark magic cast away
What
inside
the
of it.
actual what?
What? The bucket was evil the whole time. I should have known. So does that mean the bucket's not going to be in its location anymore?
Worth a try, look.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Warmth
Oh, no,
He
still there.
is right here.
Stanley's arms.
Alright,
With the
alternate
bucket in his
universe.
arms again, he was home.
Now I'm just thinking, which way do we go?
Why don't we disobey the narrator this time? With the bucket, of course.
Fair enough.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
I kind of want to see what happens if I just stay here.
Stanley didn't even try to fill the bucket with soda or something, because at least that would make sense.
Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure. Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right. Then walking to the lounge. Then arriving at the lounge. What a thrilling journey the bucket had inspired. Perhaps this was where the bucket felt most truly at home. Here in the employee lounge. Perhaps it's the only place a bucket can even feel at home. Stanley decided to just give the bucket absolutely as much time as it needed to be in the lounge.
Go ahead,
Clearly,
take
the
your
bucket
time.
and the employee lounge shared a special connection.
This is so stupid and I love it.
The narrator would be like, I am actually more pissed at this than I am in the frickin' broom closets. At least the broom closet was pissing me off. This
But
is just
finally,
for no good
the
reason.
bucket was done being in the lounge, and they took the first open door on their left to get back to business.
I don't know where that goes.
Either one really works for me, but I don't know.
Let's just see where this goes. I'm curious.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Or we took an alternative path. Take that, narrator.
Oh, good Stanley, I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Oh boy.
What? No. No.
We care about you, Stanley.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley.
This is an
We've come
intervention?
together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket
Oh my
you're
gosh,
carrying.
no.
They even have the broom
The
closet.
bucket isn't even from the original Stanley parable. It's just
The broom closet is one of the friends,
We're
the
ones
adventure
that
line.
Stanley,
The
classic
adventure
characters
line,
from
the
first
baby,
game,
our
like the
wife that
adventure
we don't
line and the
have.
broom closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it.
Too much
Don't you want
time.
another
You will
story
not take my
involving the
bucket.
adventure line? We could make the adventure line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
We haven't even run into the adventure line this playthrough.
True, we did last time though.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Yes.
Now this is what the Stanley
Why'd you
parable
cut
is
off
all
the
about.
Wait, no,
music?
go back,
Don't you
go back.
remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
I'm not giving you my bucket.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
Oh crap.
No.
I think it'll make a wonderful
No.
new addition to the rich lore of
No.
the Stanley parable.
You will not take my
It
bucket
also
from me.
not in the original game. It's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along, don't you?
I'm not giving you my bucket.
Can you guess what the bucket destroyer does?
I'll
Surely
give
you
you a
don't need me
hint.
to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
I will never give you my bucket.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the bucket destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket.
I guess you'll
Destroying
never
buckets
know.
is
Guess
all
we'll
it
find out
knows.
right now.
That is its singular personality trait.
Destroying.
I can hear you saying, how does a
You
character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters?
Which
Well,
I
you see,
say,
if
that's
you
all
were
of
to
our
really
characters. One
explore the
trait.
bucket destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of
Don't you
bucket
badmouth the
destroyer
broom
merchandise
closet.
the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the bucket destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to
No, I'm
hurry
not
and
giving it
feed
the bucket.
Wow, it's
Get back to
really
the classic
charging up the
Stanley
room.
Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Ooh,
Never.
It blew up. I'll kill you all before I let that bucket go.
Better that I die than the bucket.
The Bucket Destroyer. My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Also, we all died with it.
No, not my bucket. My bucket survived. I'd like to believe that.
We'll find out in a minute.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go...
Okay, wait, I just had an idea.
Hmm? What? Oh boy, what?
All of his co-workers
Ah,
were
darn it,
gone.
it doesn't do
What
it.
could
It does it
mean?
automatically. I thought I could
Stanley
take the bucket
decided to
back
go
with
to the
me.
meeting room. Perhaps
Oh.
he had simply missed a memo. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley pressed the bucket upon every little thing in the office.
Huh.
Nothing responded to the bucket's touch, but it did little to discourage Stanley's belief in the magic of it.
Oh, this is new.
Yep.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Nope.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room. Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him Employee Lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good,
Said the bucket.
now ride the lift
Now
all the
one
way
of
to the
these
top.
There's a Stanley
There's something
figurine
up
up there.
there I
Yeah,
need
the
you to do.
Stanleys.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this.
We'll come back to
obvious
this.
fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Oh, you missed.
But
I
Stanley
died.
feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
You can't be in its arms, it's a bucket! Phone call? Can we answer the phone?
Hi, Stanley. Just wanted to leave you a message to let you know there's a few things I need you to pick up on your way home from work today. We need milk, cereal, dish soap, spaghetti, get a thing of sugar, some bread, and coffee beans, whichever ones you like. I'll give you a call if there's anything I forgot. Thanks, sweetie. See you tonight.
She has a very high-pitched voice.
The good old
Reminds you
bucket.
of that video
Just
Mark
Stanley
did.
and the bucket.
Daddy, can I
Off
have a
on
glass of
another
water?
thrilling
Sure thing,
adventure
sweetie.
together.
Wait a second. I don't have a daughter. Roar.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
I'm gonna get that
Stanley
Stanley
had
over
felt
there.
the bucket calling
Or, I'm
to
sorry,
him,
Figgly.
telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
You're getting close now, Stanley.
Nice.
You've nearly gotten all of the Figler Anarines. Very soon,
Figure
you'll collect the last
Aglarines.
one, and then
Figler
the first
Anar-
number will equal the second
Figler
number, and
Anarines.
that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler Anarines. None of us can.
None of us can.
I love how the joke just gets stupider and stupider as it progresses.
Indeed.
Ooh, where does this go?
Good question. Okay, now where are we? The heck? I can't go that way. What is this, Gregory's room from Security Breach? Oh, a tape recorder.
Okay, this is day number 295, tape number...
Begin audio prompt in 3, 2,
I've
1.
lost track.
Dildo.
Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket,
Oh, for funk.
the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling.
He's crazy.
Yeah,
And
because
the
you're finding joy in a
emptiness in my
bucket.
chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms.
Because you're crazy.
Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it.
I'll make an OnlyFans for the bucket.
It's unthinkable the amounts
Only
of
buckets.
money
No, not
people
OnlyFans.
pay for
Only
even
buckets.
just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket.
I've got a golden
But I
ticket.
have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get...
Ah, crap.
What's that? Who's there?
What
Play the Krusty the Clown.
the crook?
Play the Krusty the Clown. What the hell was that?
Do we just witness some sort of horrifying murder monster?
Evidently, one obsessed with buckets. What was that, Mechon from SCP?
Mechon? Oh yeah. Oh, wait, no, Mechane.
Mechan. The machine god, anyway. I don't know.
That was just so wrong.
It's weird. Weird.
Even
Weird.
now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer.
Give me
perhaps,
1 second.
And a painting.
That's what.
Was it a
one.
painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
Shut up.
I've got the lovely bunch of coconuts. Doodly doodly, here they are, sitting in a row. Boom, boom, boom.
I'm back, you asshole.
What?
Where are we going today? The bucket asked.
And I put the bucket down because it's talking, and I
Anywhere
completely
they
lost
went
it.
together would be perfectly fine with him.
I'm surprised in this entire office place and not one man is playing Galaga.
I refuse to believe that's a reality. Every single office I've ever been in, someone is playing some kind of video game on either their phone or the computer.
Yeah.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way.
And
to
then
the meeting room.
complained that they got
Stanley had
fired.
felt the
Yeah.
bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The
I got in the
cargo
life
lift,
of a
yes.
man playing
Good.
Galaga.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking
Do
to
we
him.
I
listen to the
would.
bucket
It should
or
have
do we...
alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't.
Yes, listen to
But
Bucket.
Stanley chose
Bucket
not
knows
to think about
all.
This obvious fact. He was firmly convinced
Bucket
that
is
the bucket
life,
had
bucket is
spoken to
love.
him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Over where?
We could still probably make that jump.
I don't think you can. You don't have jump. Oh god, I
Now
remember
pick up
this.
the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone, and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
What if I didn't pick up the phone?
It just rings.
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone?
I didn't.
Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
What is comedic
What?
What the hell?
What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly,
What?
can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes.
Wait, hold on. Back up a
Let's
second.
dive deeper.
What?
If you've ever made someone laugh, in all
Homer
likelihood,
Simpson.
you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next,
What?
provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time.
Why would I
With
do it a
these
second
steps
time?
complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when
Bathroom
necessary.
breaks in 18
When the joke has
seconds.
concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
I'm Dunny with the funny.
No.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard
Surveys.
data from your audience on how
How to
rat they
kill a
were
joke
throughout the
in
joke
8 easy
is the only way
steps.
to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should
It's
be
good to
no
get
less
feedback,
than 10
but this is
pages
not
long
10
and should
pages.
include the same question reprinted several times.
Why, in
Just
case
to
you get the
ensure
first?
the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random.
Wanted to get
And
off
that's
of
all
this
there
crazy
is.
ride.
With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence, and who very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them.
What?
Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
What was that? What was that?
It's only one
I'm sorry.
Kate Johnson up in
This
here.
video is a little outdated, isn't it?
You
Well,
don't
no matter.
say.
I think the fundamentals of proper
What happened to
Wait,
the
is that what the
Earth?
real
are
story
still
is?
as relevant today as they were
Is
back
that what the
then.
real story is?
So
Are we
with
being
that in
talked
mind,
to by
I
like
believe the
an
only way
insect,
forward
like
is for us to
overmind or
return
something
to
like
Yeah,
that?
the Earth is one of the
and
long
walk
since
through all
lost,
of
and
this
we're just the
again,
last people
so I can try
standing.
telling my story with more appropriate comedic
Yeah, and we're
delivery.
the
Come along,
source of their
let's head
entertainment.
back. I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure.
Don't worry,
King of
it's already
comedy!
orange.
Spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
Going to get there eventually.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
What the?
What? We're back at the phone already.
You must not have paid attention.
Yeah.
What's going on? There was supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point, a dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit.
Guess we're
which
done with the
culminates in
done
this
with the
scene
funny.
with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land, well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the 2 doors room. What an
No, you were
egregious
right,
mistake.
narrator.
I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing.
Well, he's right on that
I'm
one.
not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional
No,
video again.
don't drag us along.
Surely that will help me improve my...
No.
Here we go.
Oh, thank
Oh,
Christ.
no.
When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the
Maybe
left.
we should obey him. Just to make sure it doesn't...
No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone.
Wait,
Did
even if
you
I
not
just
even
think
look at the
right...
instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley.
My fault?
I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
What the... What?
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Well, let me try that again, Stanley.
Oh no.
We're playing the role of the
I know that
narrator.
you are
We
pale
broke the
with
narrator
shame
and
over
the
how
game.
unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not? Is it the delivery? Pale with shame. Pale with shame? Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal, I think I saw it playing guitar. No. We're getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this.
Hey!
I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of comedy again. More instructional videos. Let's see.
Sorry, Leroy.
What, Leroy Jenkins?
Sure. Maybe we should stop there. So you want to keep going?
What, you need to go?
Unless you want to keep going.
I could probably do one more ending.
Alright, let's do one more then.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned?
We probably got
He
taken
made
over.
a good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction.
Looking for 416, but I can't find him anywhere.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
We know.
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was.
It was,
Had the
as they
bucket
say,
turned
the
out to be
bee's
correct?
knees.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good,
Said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him.
Even though he really
It should have
should.
alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket
Ooh,
had spoken to
close.
him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked. No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point." Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless...
Oh my
what if the
goodness.
problem
Oh
is
my
that
God.
you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket. I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding
This is gonna
could
lead
have
to a
dire
fucking
consequences
seminar.
on the entire rest of the game if
I was
not
gonna say the
addressed
human
quickly
race.
and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
I hope this is really stupid.
It probably will be.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
Obviously.
I feel like this is a trick question.
Correct.
What?
It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Oh, it's all gonna be no's, isn't it?
God, it's gonna be one of those games.
Item 2. Is this a bucket? Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket,
What?
not an actual bucket. Item 3. Is this a bucket? Correct. This is a bucket.
There's no difference.
I'm just nailing these.
Clearly.
I'm just nailing these all.
Nothing but buckets.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Oh, this is a trick question.
Bet your ass it is a bucket.
Ooh.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
Well, streak broken.
Is this a bucket?
Oh god.
Correct. This is...
What? What?
Everything is bucket.
But that tractor wasn't a bucket.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
How many questions are there?
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
How are you both a bucket and not a bucket?
Do not question the ways of bucket.
I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
He misplaced it. Oh wait.
Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket.
What?
We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true. Unless, is that what you think? Answer me straight, Stanley.
Oh my
Are you
god.
trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket?
Yes.
We all must become buckets.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago,
Even
I could
wrote
answer
the
these questions
narrator.
with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us...
Join my cult narrator. Join me.
Stanley, I can't keep doing this.
Sound like
I'm
wise
losing
man.
myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
What?
No.
Okay, here we go.
No. But everything is bucket.
Getting crap, and then the game
What
crashes.
happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every
Yes.
single thing in the game was a bucket. My God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes,
This
I
is
actually feel
wonderful
much
news.
more
We're
at
not
ease right now.
buckets.
It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone
It's all a
else,
bucket.
maybe don't
Always
mention
has been.
it. Who knows what that information might do
It's
to a
instead,
person.
instead the
All
earth,
right,
it's a bucket.
here we go.
Yes.
Oh god.
And I think that's where we're gonna stop.
Alright. Thank you for watching the AceJimL8.
Now get out.